BEAM in itself is business, events, accommodation and meetings. So in some ways we wanted it to do what it says on the tin, because this is who we represent, but it's really about shining a light.
Welcome to another episode of CM Conference Calls. I'm Louisa Daly, a CM reporter, and today I'm delighted to be joined by Sian Saywood, who is the Governance Director of the Association. Today, Sian is going to tell us a bit more about HBAA's new identity, BEAM. Hi Sian, how are you? Thanks for joining me.
Good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
No problem. As I was saying in an introduction, we're going to talk about BEAM. So my first question is, why have you rebranded to BEAM, and what is the purpose of BEAM?
Absolutely. I think my first point is this isn't a rebrand. It's a repositioning of the association. It's a reimagination of the association, if you like. The rebrand part is just a small part of a new look and a new feel. The bit that's important is what sits behind that rebrand. Why? Well, pre-COVID, we'd already started to look at where the HBA was sitting in terms of our membership and where we sat and were viewed externally by our peers and other industry associations. And it became very clear that we were so much more than hotel booking agents, both on the agency side and on our venue member side. We're made up of hotels, venues, suppliers, everything, and it wasn't really a brand that was fit for purpose. So that was the driver for the change. And then what we also noticed through the pandemic was that there were so many areas of our industry that were still not represented. We have lots of trade associations within our industry, but there still managed to be people and companies that didn't fit with something and didn't get support and then didn't know where to go when they needed help when business suddenly turned off. So that became even more clear, if it wasn't already, that the need for an association that encompasses a much more diverse membership base and is more encompassing was absolutely vital.
Definitely. And I thought we could maybe talk a little bit about the word BEAM, because as we was discussing, BEAM is kind of like an image of a beacon of hope almost.
Yes. And that's where it kind of came from. We were talking very early on, and anyone who's been through a reimagination or a branding exercise will know you end up with, start off with weird and wacky and wonderful ideas and then gradually narrow it through. So BEAM in itself is business, events, accommodation and meetings. So in some ways we wanted it to do what it says on the tin, because this is who we represent, but it's really about shining a light, and that's where the BEAM thing felt so comfortable and so right, that we're shining a light on issues that members are facing in the industry, and championing that voice that people didn't have, which we've been doing and chipping away at, but now is the time to bring that all together and actually really fight for our industry to not go through this again.
Definitely. Speaking about members then, what is new for members and what can future members expect?
Yeah. Overnight, it will be nothing. It's a very transition period into January, where we draw the line in the sand, and the HBA will no longer be in place, but its legacy will remain. But moving forward for our members, new and future members, we want to make the membership more diverse. We want to ensure that we are driving the thought leadership process in terms of industry challenges and positive contributions. We need a voice and a lobbying sort of strategy that isn't just reactive. It needs to be proactive. We should be fighting for change all the time within our industry, because there is a lot that still doesn't work and is barriers to business effectively. So I think they can expect a bigger voice, a louder voice, more than likely, an expanded board. In terms of membership benefits, there'll still be the networking, there'll still be the fundamentals of relationship and collaboration, but it can be done on a much wider scale. So rather than just agents to venue, there can be event management to venue. to supply chain, to production, to people that work in so many different areas of our industry that need an opportunity for a voice and need an opportunity to also grow their own businesses and promote best practice. The more organisations that we can promote best practice to, the better the whole industry will be.
Definitely, and I think the idea of having a really big and louder voice, as you said, is important at the moment anyway. So I know that to support this new identity, you've created 3 new board positions. Could you tell me a little bit about this?
Yeah, we can, absolutely. I mean, it's an ambitious strategy and one that's still developing and will continue to develop as we go. And that's going to be delivered when we have our forum in January at Y Boston Lakes in January. So we'll be talking more about the strategy there. But in order to get there, we were a board of 3 and then doubled in size through the pandemic, which was no easy feat. But there's still only 6 of us, and to continue and to really achieve the goals, we do need more experience and more opinions around the table. So we've got an industry relations director, which, back to kind of the comments on the voice, it's not just about lobbying government, it's not just about making the voice louder. There has to be a journey to get there, and that's going to involve collaborating with other industry associations and external associations. That's going to be bringing in the leaders of our industry together to promote change and drive that forward, and someone needs to manage that and coordinate and really take the lead on championing that thirst for change effectively in a collaborative way. And that's what that role will be about, is managing the collaborations. Next generation, we always previously had under the HBA banner a next generation board, which was made up of agents and venues, and they supported the board, and they were seen in some ways potential succession plan in the old structure. We don't want to lose that. I think it's vitally important that we have different levels of opinion and all diversities around the board table, especially in this day and age. So we want someone to come on as next generation director and bring their voice, but also look at the industry as a whole. And this became very clear from last Thursday's members meeting. You know, the biggest issue facing hospitality and indirectly the TMC market is recruitment and staff retention and resource. So we put band-aids on this every year, I think, and talk about, we can do this stuff. This is more than just staff benefits or what we pay our employees. This is about encouraging raw talent into our industry at a really, really young age and making it exciting to come and work in hospitality instead of being seen as that second choice, because there is a career path that is phenomenal if we just explained it to people. Yes, it's hard work, of course it is, but it's the most rewarding career that you can have. I mean, I might be biased, but I think it is. It's the most rewarding industry. So, but people don't see it. They see it still as something you do if you can't do anything else. And I think we need to fix that. So the next generation director will be fundamental in pushing that, that agenda forward. And then content delivery, I think I wouldn't, not out of turn in saying that the HBA didn't always get the content or the balance right when we were doing our events. When I looked at our last event calendar pre-COVID, we had, I think it was like 30 events in the calendar, which for an association our size is, to be honest, a bit ridiculous from a management perspective and from a member expectation perspective, because you can never hit that much content correctly for those many events. So we need to make sure that our content is leading, sometimes controversial, I guess, but not be afraid to really ask the questions and challenge, but at the right level. So if there's an event that we need to run or a training course that we need to run that is a fit for operational level, that it only, it's targeted there. And then we have our leadership section and then our growth section, and that the right areas and the right content is going to the right people. So you can have great content, but if you haven't got the right people in the room, it's irrelevant.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so content delivery director's probably got quite a big job. I hope no one listening to this is being put off, by the way, from applying, because I've made them seem massive, but we're very supportive, and I'm really excited that we're going to get some fresh eyes on the board as well.
Yeah, well, that all sounds great. Thank you so much for joining me, and
No
thank you everyone for watching. If you want to learn more about the new identity, you can click in the link below, and I'll see you in the next instalment.